These teenage dino siblings thought it was going to be a walk in the park looking after family eggs until they started to hatch in Dinositters.
And today we'll be teaching you how to play Dinositters, game designed by Joel Bodkin and Maxwell Freud and published by Featherstone Games.
And hello everyone, it's Stella.
And Tarrant from the Dice Tower.
Alright, let's get to the game.
In Dinositters, players play the roles of teenage dinosaur siblings, expecting to earn some easy money watching over eggs in the nursery. But all of a sudden, the eggs start to hatch, and now they have a busy night ahead, running around attempting to collect food and keep the new hatchlings happy. Players will earn happiness for their nurseries as they line up hatchlings with shared play activities and food, as well as completing the placement objectives on rainbow cards. And whoever amasses the most happiness over 12 rounds of play will be the winner. To set up, lay out the main board, placing the rainbow pool and the 4 food token trays. Store all the food tokens on their corresponding trays. Shuffle the circular rainbow cards and place them in the center pool, and shuffle each of the 4 hatchling decks and place them on their matching colours. Place the round marker on round 1. Give each player a nest board and happiness tracker. On the latter, place 2 happiness tokens. You'll use this to track your score, 10s and 1s, and your 2 matching sibling tokens. Take your coloured rainbow token and place it at the start of the rainbow track above the main board. Each player draws 2 cards from the rainbow pool, keeping them face up beside their nest boards. Next, starting with the eldest player and going clockwise, each player takes 2 starting hatchling cards, taking them from the tops of different decks and placing them in their upright orientations in spaces of your nest board. Ignore any icon matches that you might make during setup. Although these would score happiness during the game, they give you nothing in the setup phase. Once all players have made this selection, deal 2 cards face up from each of the hatchling decks, 1 into each of these egg spaces. You're now ready to play. Dinositters is played over 12 rounds, and in each round, each player will take 1 turn, starting with the eldest player and going clockwise around the table. On each turn, you will use 1 of your sibling tokens to take 1 action. If either of your sibling tokens begins your turn on your happiness board, then you must take 1 of those, place it on an action space, which is indicated by one of these paw prints, and take the action. If both of your sibling tokens are on action spaces when you start your turn, then you must choose one of them, move it to a different action space, and then take that action. There are 9 action spaces in 3 different types. There are hatchling locations, which allow you to gain a new hatchling card. There are food locations, which allow you to take 1 of the matching food. And there is the rainbow pool, which lets you gain rainbow cards. A sibling may always be placed onto the rainbow pool space without restriction. This is indicated by the multiple paws on that action space. Otherwise, each of the standard locations can hold only a single sibling. When moving or placing, you can put your sibling onto either an empty space or a space containing an opponent's sibling, but never onto one already containing one of your own. If you move to a space with an opponent, then you bump that opponent. The bumped opponent may take any one of the 4 food types as if they'd placed a sibling on that location, before that sibling returns to its happiness board. In this way, bumping another player gives that player a whole extra action. And so, in a game with only 12 rounds, you'll want to be careful how many of these extra actions you give your opponents. So now let's have a look at each action in detail and through that process understand how to earn happiness points. When you take a hatchling action, you gain a new hatchling card from that location, either taking one of the face-up cards, replenishing it immediately from the top of the deck, or drawing blindly from the deck. place your new hatchling card into any empty space in your nest. You must always place them in the correct upright orientation, which will show this large food icon in the top left corner. A large part of what you'll be trying to do with these placements is to put hatchlings together who have shared play interests. And this is represented by the icons on the edges of the cards. If your placement makes any matches, then those hatchlings play together and you earn happiness. If the placement makes a single connection, then the happiness scored is 2. If you make 2 connections at once, then the happiness scored is 5. 3 connections at once scores 11, and 4 at once scores 20. You are allowed to make placements which don't match, but they won't score points. So this depicted placement was legal, but with only 1 match would score 2 happiness. There are 4 different play icons, 1 in each colour, and each card within a hatchling deck will always have 2 icons of its own colour. If your nest board is full, then you cannot visit the hatchling locations. If you visit a food location, take 1 matching food. And if you're bumped from any location, take any 1 food of your choice. In either case, you must immediately place this food onto a valid hatchling in your nest, and there are 2 ways to do this: feed and bribe. When you feed, place the token onto an empty matching feed space in the top left corner of a hatchling. At this point, nothing else happens, but later on, if you place a hatchling such that it plays together with one which has a food token, then in addition to the happiness gained for the matches, you also gain 3 points per food token within those matches and return those food tokens to the supply. Here it was a placement with a single match for 2 happiness, including 1 fed hatchling, for another 3, a total of 5 points. Food will only convert to happiness when you're resolving the play together matches. If I now gained this and placed it here, it's a part of 2 existing matches, but I won't score it unless I make a match with this dance icon here. The second option with food is to bribe a hatchling. Place the food token onto the bribe slot of a hatchling which has not previously been bribed. Then take one of 2 options. Firstly, you could move the bribed hatchling to a different empty space anywhere in your nest. Then resolve playing together effects exactly as you would have if you'd just placed it as a new hatchling. Here I've made 2 matches, which includes 2 feeds, triggering me to gain 5 plus 6 is 11 happiness. This token is never removed, meaning you cannot bribe it again. The second way to bribe is to exchange the positions of 2 hatchlings in your nest, which must be the one you bribe and then any other hatchling which has not previously been bribed. So in this case, anything but the center one. Once you've made the exchanges, you now once again gain happiness points for matches, this time scoring for both of the swapped cards. So in this case, 5 for this one and 8 for this one. Although the hatchling you bribed can't be moved again, the hatchling that was moved as part of the swap can be bribed later in the game. You cannot take a gain food action if you don't have a legal place to put that food immediately. And the food pool is not intended to be limited. If you ever run out of tokens, use a suitable substitute. The final action space is the rainbow pool, and when you visit here, draw the top 2 rainbow cards from the deck and place them face up beside your nest. You can hold any number of rainbow cards. Each card shows a Tetris pattern of 4 colours, and after any placement or movement of a hatchling, in addition to any play together bonus, you should check whether or not you've now met the pattern on any of your rainbow cards. The patterns on these cards may be rotated but not flipped. If you meet one or more of the patterns, with this placement here, I've met both of these patterns. You can see that those colours are laid out in the patterns shown on the card. Then flip your completed cards over and advance your marker one step along the rainbow track for each. The number depicted here will be the amount of happiness you'll gain at the end of the game. Once each player has taken a turn, advance to the next round. You'll continue with the same turn order, the eldest player still going first. Once the 12th round is complete, the game is over and you'll add up final scores. To do this, determine the points for your current position on the rainbow track and add that to any happiness points you gained throughout the game. The player with the most happiness wins, and if tied, victory goes to the youngest tied player. And that's how to play Dinositters.
Thank you so much for watching. Hit the like button, please, if you find this video useful. Let us know if you have any questions and comments, and see you next time. Bye!
Hey everybody, thanks for watching another video on the Dice Tower. Hey, do you want to know what's going on with Dice Tower? Do you want to know about our events, our cruises, special things that we're going to do live here in the Dice Tower? Subscribe to Dice Tower Digest. Go to dicetowerdigest.com. It's a newsletter that we send out bi-weekly. We won't use your email for anything else. This is just to get you some information about the Dice Tower so you'll be up to date. Thanks for watching.